Till I see that started. All
Hi,
right.
how do I add my group here? Good morning first.
Hi, good morning, Sally.
Hi. How do I add who I represent here?
There, go ahead, Elizabeth, sorry.
If you look, hover over your picture with your mouse, the image of your video, there are 3 white dots in a blue box, and you can click rename.
It's
and
actually
it'll
not
let you
working.
type a new name.
It's not working.
Is it not?
Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Elizabeth,
it might be disabled, so we'll just skip that part.
okay,
Yeah,
but if you
not a
go to
problem.
participants, you can allow us to rename ourselves as the host.
Will do.
Or security or participants.
Okay,
All right,
thank
thanks.
you.
Yep.
We will do that. And then the last thing I just wanted to ask is if we do have a pretty large group today, which is fantastic. But if you could keep yourself on mute when you are not sharing out, that would be great, just to minimize some of the extra noise we got coming through. And feel free to post any questions throughout in the chat, and we will be monitoring that and answering them throughout. And then with that, let's get started. All right, so today's objectives and agenda, really quick over that. We're going to start with some welcomes and introductions. We are going to then move on to the DuPage poverty picture with a presentation from our partners at the DuPage Federation. Then we will move on to introducing the Service Council to all of you, followed with questions that you may have. We were going to have some time to answer those questions, and then we're going to close out with some next steps on what we're going to do moving forward from here today. So with that, we'd like to start by asking you all a question. Please type your answer in the chat. What is your organization's current level of involvement with higher education? All right. Let's see. Intern, moderate involvement. Okay. We offer scholarships. Minimal involvement. Okay. None. Minimal. None. Interns. Okay. Great. We sponsor an annual composition contest for music students at area college. Oh, that's very cool. Okay, thank you all so much for sharing these. This is super helpful for us to kind of just gauge where everybody's at with all of this. All right, and I will move on to the next one. We're going to start with some introductions on our team, and I'm going to pass it to Shefali Trivedi with Giving DuPage.
Good morning. Thanks again. So I think many of you are familiar with Giving DuPage, but I think obviously you're here because we invited you. So you're familiar with our work and our mission to promote giving and volunteering. We do a lot of programs around volunteerism. Obviously, our volunteer portal, the board match program, which we're heavily investing in, and also.
Why don't you go ahead and start, and then if anybody else joins, then I'll add them in.
Good morning. So we were asking everyone to mute themselves. If you haven't already, please go ahead and mute yourself. And we'll also try to mute all, Elizabeth, just to keep us honest here. And reminding everyone that we're starting this higher education initiative, but we also have an interfaith service council that we have had some great traction with. We started last year, and then because of the pandemic, lost a little bit of ground. Next year in 2021, we do intend to bring back our other programs in some format, virtual or hybrid, depending on how things are with Fallapalooza and the conference. So it's giving everyone kind of a sneak peek around the bend for Giving DuPage.
Great, thank you, Shefali. I'm going to pass it now to Natalie Furlett with Campus Compact.
Hi all, really excited to be here and be with you all this morning. So I'm Natalie, I'm with Campus Compact. I actually know some of you because I see some familiar names with organizations we work with our Tyson Summer Internship Program. So that's exciting. Campus Compact works with colleges and universities on civic engagement initiatives. So we do anything that helps students and colleges be better citizens. So we just finished a big push on voter engagement and voter registration. We did a lot around engaging the census. We do a lot of work with faculty on implementing service learning and community engaged learning. So we're really excited to be partnering on this project and hoping to bring some of the resources of higher ed to help support nonprofits in DuPage.
Great, thank you, Natalie. And as I stated, my name is Elizabeth Okresic. I am an Americorps member working with Giving DuPage. And I'll get into a little bit more about Americorps later, but I would like to share a bit of a personal background with all of you as I'm kind of this project manager for the council here. I graduated from Illinois State University with a bachelor's degree in human and educational services. I went on to get my master's degree from City University of New York when I graduated with a master's in disability studies. And I'm currently an Americorps member serving with the Campus Compact Vista program at Giving DuPage. My background is in disability. I studied it in both my bachelor's and master's work. And I would like to share that I am a resident of DuPage County. I have been for most of my life. So it is an honor. I'm very excited to be able to serve my own community as a volunteer with Americorps. And so we'd like to do some introductions now with all of you. I am going to stop sharing my screen on this end. And I'm going to call on names just to help speed things along. And to respect everyone's time, please share your name, your title, and your organization. And I will stop sharing. All right, and on my screen, I see George Palmatam, Jay Wojcik. Oh, I'm sorry if I ruin anyone's name. I'm going to try my best though. And Jill Garbalowskis. And I'll do 3 at a time. Go ahead.
I'm Jill Garbalowskis. I am the Director of Children's Programs for Bridge Communities.
And I'm Jay Wojcik, the founder and board president of Healthy Lumber.
And George, would you like to introduce yourself?
Unmute, George.
Yeah. George Palmatam from the Council of International Programs. We are also based in DuPage.
Great. Next, I have Mark Bushbach. I can't see your full name there. Sorry about that. Mark, and then Katie Weedley, and then David Roth.
Hi, I'm Mark Bushbacher. I'm with Serenity House as the executive director.
Hi, sorry, I have my child on my lap. My name is Katie Weedley. I'm the support services supervisor at Western DuPage Special Recreation Association.
And I'm Dave Roth, DuPage Federation on Human Services Reform Executive Director.
All right, next I see Dan Curtin, Amanda Bryant, and Alex Engelhardt.
I'm Dan Curtin. I've been a longtime volunteer and consultant with the Teach Adult ESL program.
I'm Amanda Bryant, the programs manager for the Garden Works project.
Alex Engelhardt, executive director at Fox Valley Special Recreation Association.
Great. Next, I see Amy Smetana, Mindy Inman, and Deanna Roby-Vergas.
Hi, I'm Amy Smetana. I'm a program manager at Teach. I work with Dan.
Good morning. I'm Mindy Inman, and I work for Outreach Community Ministries as our director of volunteer services.
Good morning. I'm Deanna Borges. I'm with the University of Illinois Extension, and I cover DuPage, Kane, and Kendall counties, and I'm the executive director.
All right, next I have Rickay Lessig, Aaron James, and Miriam Irby.
Rakia Lessig, Treasurer, Assistance League, Chicagoland West.
Aaron James, Assistant Treasurer, Assistance League, Chicagoland West.
Miriam, you were on mute. I don't think we heard you. I can do it though. I'll do it for you, Miriam. How's that? While we figure out the sound. Miriam's the executive director of the Carroll Stream Chamber of Commerce. Sound good? Did I do it right, Miriam? Okay, good.
Thanks, Polly. Next, I have Marcella Sweeney, Shannon Hartnett, and Rachel Charbonneau.
Hi, I'm Marcella Sweeney from Educare West DuPage, the Executive Director.
Hi, I'm Rachel Charbonneau, and I'm the SNAP-Ed Program Coordinator for DuPage for U of I Extension.
I am Shannon Hartnett. I'm the Executive Director of Northeast DuPage Family and Youth Services.
Next, I have Maria Garino, Jennifer Shanahan, and Sarah Tesh.
Hi, I'm Maria Garino. I am the President-elect of Assistance League Chicagoland West.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Shanahan. I'm the Grants Manager at 360 Youth Services in Naperville.
Hi, Sarah Tesh. I'm the Community and Corporate Giving Manager at 360 Youth Services, based in Naperville, but serving the greater DuPage and surrounding areas.
All right, next I have Leslie Mate, Lauren Visser, and Liz Canino-Baker.
Hi, I'm Leslie Mate. I'm Treasurer of DuPage Animal Friends.
I'm Lauren Visser. I'm a drop-in supervisor at the Alive Teen Center, as well as an adjunct professor of communication arts at Trinity Christian College.
I am Luz Canino-Baker, president and founder of Latinas on the Plaza.
Great. Next, I have Jackie Reeves, Vicky Joseph, and Nayab Sitar.
I am Jackie Reeves. I'm the program director and volunteers at Glen Ellen Children's Resource Center. And I'm also an Americorps alum from 02 and 03.
Hi, I'm Vicky Joseph with Bridge Communities, and I'm community outreach.
Hi, I'm Nayab Sitar. I'm with the University of Illinois Extension, and I am the SNAP-Ed educator. And I work with Deanna Borges and Rachel Charbonneau.
All right, next I have Beth Carey, Clint Scharf, and Mandy Windfeld.
I'm Beth Carey from Sharing Connections Furniture Bank. I'm our Director of Development.
Morning, everybody. I'm Clint Scharf. I'm the Executive Director of the Boy Scouts of America, Three Fires Council here in the Western Suburbs.
Hi, I'm Mandy Woodfeld. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Lutheran Child and Family Services.
All right, Sally Liarda, Mary Parsons, and Laura Glaza. Oops, Sally, you're on mute.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. I'm Sally Liarda. I am the organizer of 100 Women Who Care, DuPage County. And we just recently gave money to Mindy's group. And I need to, yeah, so.
I'm Mary Parsons. I'm president of Assistance League Chicagoland West, based in Hinsdale.
I'm Laura Glaza, executive director of the Glen Ellen Food Pantry. Nice to meet you all.
Yeah.
Jeannie Waltman, Jennifer Brassfield, and Asma Jared.
Hi, I'm Janine Waltman. I am the coordinator of the Glenbard Early Childhood Collaborative.
Jennifer, are you there with us? All right, go ahead, Asma.
Okay, hello, good morning, everyone. Nice to see some familiar faces here. My name is Asma Jarad. I'm from the Islamic Circle of North America. We serve Glendale Heights and the entire Chicagoland area, and I work in community outreach and communications.
All right, next I have Jordan Durrett, Kelsey Berry, and Larry Collins.
Hi, my name's Jordan Durrett. I am a research analyst with the DuPage Federation on Human Service Reform.
Hi,
am Kelsey Berry. I'm the volunteer and foster coordinator for the Hinsdale Humane Society.
Hi, I'm Larry Collins. I'm board president of Archipelago, a singing group headquartered in Villa Park. I've left myself on picture mute because I haven't quite gotten cleaned up yet, and I haven't shaved and have a bad case of bedhead, and I could scare small children right now. So you're better off not seeing.
All right, we have Kim Zoller next, Katie Thomas, Natalie Hernandez.
Hi, I'm actually Dina McGady. I am from Ray Graham Association. I am the executive assistant and volunteer coordinator. I am also not staying on video as I have a preschooler zooming behind me and it's not pretty. So I will be off my video.
Good morning, I'm Katie Thomas. I'm the development director for Northeast DuPage Family and Youth Services.
Morning, I'm Natalie Hernandez. I am an Americorps Vista serving at DuPage Health Coalition. My title is Health Equity Coordinator.
All right, and then I think Anita Naz and Jean Carlquist.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Anita Kanazi, Director of Volunteer Services at Blessings in a Backpack.
Good morning, this is Jean, and I am a co-founder of 100 Plus Women Who Care in the Elmhurst area.
All right,
Elizabeth, I
thank
think
you.
Jennifer was left out. Let's see if Jennifer Brassfield wants to say hello real quick. Oh, she might be having unmute issues. Yep. Well, Jennifer Brassfield is the executive director of Riverwalk Adult Day Services. So I'll cover that one for you, Jennifer.
All right, thank you. Did I miss anyone? I had a few people kind of hopping around on my screen. Okay, great. Thank you all so much for sharing. We are so excited to have each of you here with us today. I am going to start sharing my screen again. All right. So now we're going to move to Jordan Durrett, a data analyst at DuPage Federation, who is going to share an infographic and give us a little picture of poverty in DuPage County. She's been working with data and has been an awesome partner in helping with us. So I'm going to pass it to Jordan to share.
Sure thing. Awesome. Thank you for pulling that up. And so I did a little infographic just to give us a little background, some fast facts on poverty. I'm going to go over this really quickly, but if you have any questions, I'll put my email into the chat. And also, Elizabeth, I think you'll be sharing this out afterwards, right? Awesome. My email is also on the bottom of that. I'm always happy to talk data. But let's get into it, shall we? So there are approximately 53,000 residents who fall below the federal poverty line, which is 100% of the FPL. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But 1 in 10 children under the age of 6 also fall below this poverty line. And 19,000 households use SNAP, what we used to call food stamps. Something important to mention about that 19,000, that's households. So there are quite a few more individuals who use SNAP in DuPage. And then if we want to go to that middle section, if we want to scroll down just a little bit, thank you, Elizabeth. Something really important to know about DuPage is there's not really a pattern per se, it's pockets of poverty. The darker colors on this map show where there are more people who fall under that 100% federal poverty line. Poverty in DuPage isn't spread out evenly. There are these deep, deep pockets of poverty that are scattered throughout the county, kind of like buckshot. And these pockets can be very difficult to address, but as you all know, you are part of the system that is working to address all of these pockets. But probably something that gets overlooked a lot in DuPage County, we're seen as a very affluent county, which is very true. There are very big pockets of very nice affluent communities. But the cost of living in DuPage County is one of the highest costs of living in the Midwest. And I mean, we're not going to be competing with New York City and LA, of course. But in the metro area, of Chicago, we have one of the highest costs of living. And part of that is the cost of housing, most definitely. But so when we are thinking about people who are in need, we're not just thinking about people who fall under the 100% federal poverty line. We're thinking more around the 200%, so double that federal poverty line. Those folks, we like to put them into this group called low income. And these folks are going to also struggle to make ends meet. And if we look at this group of people, that more than doubles, it almost triples a little bit, how many folks we need to try and help. So there are 137,500,000 residents who fall into this category of low income, and 1 in 5 children under the age of 6 who fall into the same category. And just kind of to give you an illustration of how much it costs to just even break even in this county, you need about $53,000 a year before taxes in order to break even as a 1-child, 2 working parent household in this county. So the bar is set pretty high. And one thing I will want to mention is the federal poverty line is a weird measurement of need. It was made back in the 1940s, I believe. It was based on the cost of groceries, which tended to take up much more money for people's household incomes than it does now. It's kind of a weak measure. So we really do want to look at those low income households as well. And that's why it's so important to consider them in anything that we're talking about with poverty. Yep. And so I just threw a lot of info at y'all, but yeah, thanks for sticking with me.
Yes, thank you, Jordan, for sharing that. As she said, I will be sharing this out in the follow-up, so you will all have access to this infographic here. And her email is included, and I will share that as well in the follow-up email if you have any further questions about any of this data. So now I'm going to go ahead and move on to introducing the Service Council. So we haven't quite figured out the exact name yet. DuPage Service Council, Higher Education Service Council, we're talking about the same thing there. But I do want to share that this Higher Education Service Council is a student-led countywide collaboration to address the needs of the DuPage community through service. And to just highlight a few of those things, student-led, we are looking to have students really be at the heart of this council and supporting the service that is going to happen. Countywide collaboration, we are inviting all of the higher education throughout DuPage County and have already begun to do that, as well as all the nonprofits throughout DuPage County. And then addressing the needs. So I want to point to this next line that says, this effort unites DuPage County higher education to serve the needs of local nonprofit organizations. So I do want to emphasize that this council is intended to really serve the needs of each nonprofit organization, because we do recognize that the best way to serve the community is by addressing the needs rather than just bringing those projects to nonprofits that maybe higher ed wants to do. So we really want to take the most effective action to build up the community by addressing needs. And then lastly, this council is a program of Giving DuPage. Giving DuPage serves as a host, facilitator, and connector for this council. And it is in a 3-year partnership with Campus Compact and Americorps, which is where Natalie and I kind of fall in there. And so I said I would get back to this. So I'm going to share a little bit about what Americorps and Vista is if you are not familiar with them. Americorps is a network of national service programs that pairs volunteers with community to improve lives and foster civic engagement. And so I'm actually part of one of the service programs through Americorps, which is Vista, and Vista stands for Volunteers in Service to America. I'm a part of the Campus Compact Vista program. That's my cohort on the right there doing a virtual screenshot meeting, serving in our virtual world. It is a year-long service opportunity. So we serve for 365 days. And I want to share some of the key principles of what Vista is to help you better understand my work and my purpose here. So first, ending poverty is one of our key principles. That is really what our goal is as Vista members, is to end poverty and fight poverty in the United States, especially the communities we are serving in. The next key principle is empowering communities. So we don't want to just serve our community, but we actually want to help our communities help themselves. So rather building those communities up to really support themselves. Creating sustainable solutions is the next key principle, which just means that we know that we are only a year-long service opportunity, and we know that we are volunteers for a short amount of time, and we want to make sure that the work we do has a lasting impact in the community. And lastly, building capacity. It is our goal to make sure that we are supporting the organizations and they have those tools to really be the best they can be in all their efforts. So with that, the initial focus of this project, as it is a Vista project, it will initially focus on addressing poverty in the community by partnering with nonprofit organizations that fight poverty and support low-income households, as this is Vista work. But we do want to be clear that as this effort takes shape and grows, it is not intended to only be addressing the needs of poverty and low-income households. We do want to expand that reach to support nonprofit organizations throughout the community. And we will be making that effort and that change based on kind of the interests of our students to help really address the needs in the community, but also keep the council engaged. So as we're kind of making that change and starting to address those needs there. So the Service Council purpose, we came up with a few purposes we see on our end. So I kind of like this picture because it kind of depicts what we're trying to do here a little bit. We have the Do Good University on one side, and we have our overworked nonprofit on the other side. And so like our first bullet says here, we're trying to bridge higher education in the nonprofit community. So for example, with this picture, bring the two worlds together and help lift people out of poverty and then eventually help lift our community up. And so by bringing these two together, really making that connection. We're also connecting campuses to enhance community efforts. We understand that a lot of colleges and universities do things separately, and they may not know that they are doing very similar work in the community. So we want to take this opportunity to make their community engagement as effective and efficient as possible. As I stated previously, we want to address the nonprofit community needs. That is really where we feel we would best lift up the communities, by addressing the needs and then engaging student leaders in the community. We really want those students to be our powerhouse and the ones who are taking action. All right, so how can higher education help you? Part of my work at the beginning of this project that I've been doing is just seeing different ways that community and campuses connect. So I've come up with a few examples for you all. I am not going to read them all. You will have it in slides when we share this later, but I would like to touch on a few of them. So campuses, excuse me, nonprofit organizations can connect with libraries. One really cool way that I saw is that libraries love to showcase work done with community members and their students. They love to kind of brag about where their students are being engaged and doing really meaningful work in the community. Connections can be made with student organizations. Often what happens is an organization of students with a similar mission to a nonprofit connect together, build that relationship, and you can organize a service day, a day of service, really working together on addressing your missions together. Individually with students can write grants. It is an excellent opportunity for writing experience for students, and it's a great resume booster for them, but it also helps you get those grants that you need. And another cool one I saw is nursing students volunteering at a local facility to provide flu shots. So they volunteered their time to provide those flu shots, which I thought was a very cool way to connect campuses with community. Connecting specifically campuses, you can work on organizing a community engaged service program with the campus, really helping that campus and that college or university understand the service needs with their school and helping build that initiative to support service in the community. Faculty and staff can be a great way to publicize your events to students. If you build that relationship with that faculty and staff, they can share your fundraisers and share your events to help spread the word for college students and peers in that aspect. And then connecting with courses. You may or may not have heard of service learning courses. It is where nonprofit organizations partner with faculty in a specific course, and the intention is to help students, give students an opportunity to oh, I'm sorry, lost my train of thought there. It gives the students an opportunity to apply their skills that they're learning in real world situations with the nonprofit organization. So for example, a media class starting up an Instagram page and allowing them that experience to work on the media, but then the nonprofit gets that Instagram page and you have now that social media platform. So our homework on then here is we recognize that we do have some gaps still in this work. It is still the beginning stages. We just recently talked to higher education about this project, and now we are initiating it with you all here. And so we want to say that we are working on defining roles and responsibilities for students as well as faculty and staff to help define what this council will look like with all of their participation, as well as working on establishing structure and including how it would look to pair students with the needs of the nonprofit organizations, and then also preparing for sustainability and ensuring that we have structure around how this will keep moving forward as we recognize that students do come and go. And we will be addressing these and working on them until our February meeting, which I'll share a little bit more in the future. So who's interested? We kind of wanted to give you all a little bit of a taste of who we've been in connection with and who's interested in participating in this council. And we've had an exciting and overwhelming response from all of these institutions who've shared that this is something that they are really interested in being a part of moving forward. And I will get off my pedestal now and stop screen sharing, and we're gonna open the floor to you all to ask questions. Feel free to post it in the chat or unmute yourself and share out.
There are no questions, or are we all just a little bit under caffeinated?
I got a few questions actually. Sorry.
Go ahead, Dan.
I heard a phone thing in there.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead.
So how exactly then are these relationships, like how can we take a step in towards building them, I guess, with universities directly? That's vague, but.
No, it's a fair question.
Yeah, so we are working on that. We understand that there needs to be a structure around this council to really bring those two worlds together. We are trying to figure out kind of exactly how it will look. We are currently working on maybe connecting through the portal to really, the volunteer portal with Giving DuPage to really connect those needs with students to make sure that your needs are all being addressed. In terms of like the actual connection there, we're still trying to figure out some of the logistics, but it is on our radar in figuring that out, how to really bring those two together.
Okay.
And I would just say too, I think part of the process of this is to create some better communication, right? So that higher ed and nonprofits are sitting at a table talking together about what the needs of the community are, so that projects that are created are really based upon what the community need is, right? Or what the community issues are. Because I think so often from my higher ed lens, right, we sit in our higher ed little world and we think, oh, this would be a great project, but we don't necessarily have the input of the folks like you who are on the ground doing the work. And so we also know too that a lot of you are working with lots of different universities and having very different experiences. And how can we help to create some good synergy amongst all of the institutions that are out there and the work that they're doing in the community?
And Dan, it's coming up in the next step slide that we'll be closing on, but we will be, you can save the date on February 10th. We're going to be hosting a meeting. So for the first couple of months, Giving DuPage is going to facilitate and host that connection so that you're not trying to do it on your own. There will be a sharing of contact information. We will be the convener of like bringing together both sides of the equation, the higher eds and the nonprofits. So you're not going to be out there on your own, just you're not getting an email list and just trying to reach people randomly. We're going to definitely facilitate that connection early on. And then as you form your service partnership projects, you will be working directly with your contacts at the university. So there's some next steps coming. Hold please.
Awesome. Sorry.
No, it's great. It's good to know you're right on target with us. So
yeah, we were
no
interested in like coming up with some sort of internship program, but kind of got lost in not knowing what to do in terms of like the formalities of it. Like we reached out to a few universities, but it was hard to like really like establish any sort of good communication, especially with COVID. So this is a good meeting to be a part of for sure.
And
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I presented that infographic last week or 2 weeks ago to that group of higher ed. And I helped two higher ed organizations already connect with some nonprofit organizations. So it's already working.
I'll also share some questions we have in the chat, Elizabeth. So timeline for the rollout, is someone's asking about that?
Okay, yeah. So backtracking a little bit, I don't know if this was clearly stated, we did have a meeting with higher education. So those partners who were interested on the higher ed side, we brought all of them together to introduce this idea to them with their perspective. And now we are introducing it to all of you. So then February is our next step in terms of bringing these two groups together to start introducing that structure and building those relationships so that we can make this change and start these service projects. That is our current timeline right now. We are hoping that after February, it'll give us a lot more guidance on how things will look after we bring both higher education and nonprofit together. We do have some structure ideas to set up for that meeting, but in terms of moving forward with everything, we really want to see where the connections will be at February.
Jay asked, how could we invite a student to join our board? So certainly that's one community need that you can kind of identify for our projects, but also Jay, Giving DuPage has a board match program. So I urge everyone who's interested in finding board members, younger or older or whatever, to go ahead to I'll include the link in the chat here in a second, but go ahead and fill out the agency application for that board match program. If you are searching for board members, we are in 2021 actually going to be dedicating some real resources, I think, to that program. So stay tuned for that. Next question, Anita, how can nonprofits get involved with this project?
Yeah, so really our next step is we have a couple next steps for you in a few slides coming up just to help you all understand what we need from you moving forward to really initiate this project. But how can you get involved? Stay connected with me and I will help keep you all connected in February when we do connect those two groups. We will identify some of that structure. I keep repeating the same thing, but that is where we're like kind of headed with all this in our focus. But yeah, I will have you all on an email list. If you registered for this meeting, you will stay involved in updates regarding this moving forward. You will get a link for our February meeting. We can keep you involved in things moving forward. Yeah.
There's another question on how do we invite students to help with the community survey. So Jay, that's another great project that you can add to your list of needs that you have, and we'll tuck it into all the ideas that we share with higher ed. If you have very specific details around that, share those specifics with Elizabeth. She will definitely be the person, the keeper of all these different needs that you guys have. So keep coming up with those needs and sharing them with Elizabeth. Deanna suggested that one thing that might be helpful is a list of participants and their affiliation from this meeting, as well as on the higher ed side. copy that. You'll be getting that information, so no worries there. Clint Scharf is suggesting the BSA would be glad. So the Boy Scouts of America would be glad to help. Many of our clients go into higher ed and would be willing to help them and others connect with meaningful service to needy communities. That is fabulous with 400 local partners. All right, Clint, expect us to follow up. That's great news. Appreciate that. Sarah is asking what types of projects are other organizations thinking of doing with students? So that's a good question for everyone. What types of projects? So far, some people have mentioned like internships, community surveys. What are some of your other needs where higher ed education assets or resources could be helpful? So anyone can unmute and chat or chime in on, or add their comments in the chat, whichever way you'd like.
Okay, I'll jump in. We deal a lot, not only with Lombard kids, but any children in DuPage County, and our whole goal is to give them an opportunity to stay healthy. And with COVID, it's been a little challenging because we don't do anything in person. But starting in January, we're doing a thing called Frosted Apple, just because our logo's an apple. But it'll have activities that kids can do, coordinated with the gym teachers from Lombard Elementary School District 44, who is making some videos for us. And then for completing a certain number of activities, they'll earn a small prize at different levels. So what we're looking for is ways to get that information out, because normally we would try and do it through the schools or the PTAs or the YMCA or, but right now we're really limited. So we'd be looking at kids who are into public relations, media, to help us find ways to get that out, because we're going to be doing it from January through March. So maybe that window's too soon, but that's like an immediate need that we would have.
Other needs for folks?
I just want to point out that there's a couple of folks who were talking about the survey idea in the chat. And I just think that's this is the type of idea where if there's multiple organizations who are interested in some sort of community survey that we could do as a group that higher ed could help facilitate, like those are the types of ideas that we think this council could really be helpful with, right? So instead of each individual organization doing a community service, trying to get information, maybe we all work together. We use the, research prowess of some of these great institutions in DuPage, and we really make that something that's going to be useful for you for grant making, for program management, for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I think those are definitely some great ideas. Somebody else also asked about degree requirements. Yes, a bunch of our institutions in higher ed have community service requirements for their students. And so again, this is a place where we want to be able to bring higher ed and nonprofits together to talk about what that looks like, so that when a student shows up at your doorstep and says, hey, I got to do 20 hours in order to, pass this class, that you understand what that's for, and you're not asked to find 20 hours for them the week that it's due, right? That we can help to create some opportunities where you're in conversation with the folks who make these requirements, and tell them how it works for your organization. So I'm excited about the ideas that are showing up in the chat.
So another question or idea is, would it be possible for this effort or this council to apply to get a couple of Vista volunteers and apply to the Americorps program? So that's a little harder, just so that folks know. The Americorps program that operates in the state of Illinois is through the National Federal Agency arm for service. And in the state of Illinois, typically, if your organization or even mine wanted to apply for an Americorps member, we would have to make a commitment to have up to eight members in the application process through the Serve Illinois Commission. So the federal dollars are typically funneled through the state service commissions, and each state service commission establishes what the requirements are to apply for Americorps. And in the state of Illinois, you have to apply with Serve Illinois with at least 8 members. Now, how did we, Giving DuPage, get lucky enough to have Elizabeth? Well, that's where the awesome partnership with Natalie's group, Campus Compact, came in, because Natalie has a couple of Americorps Vistas and Americorps members through the Campus Compact national program. So certain organizations like Habitat for Humanity or the Feeding America, they actually apply on a national level directly with the federal arm of the government to get federal Americorps members through funneled to all of their affiliates or chapters. So that's why this partnership was even possible for Giving DuPage. This has been an idea. The Service Council with Higher Education has been an idea of mine for like, I don't know, 8 years or 7 years, for a long time, let's put it that way. And I could never make it work because we couldn't hire somebody and we couldn't afford to kind of apply for so many AmeriCorps members at the same time. And so that's why this partnership was really helpful. Now, I will tell you that a lot of the higher education, some of the higher education institutions also apply, and Natalie can kind of speak on this a little bit more. They apply for AmeriCorps members too. And so there might be an opportunity for some partnership there. So George, stay tuned. We'll see where we can take this idea, if anywhere. But I just want you guys to kind of understand the structure on that. The community service survey idea seems to be getting a lot of traction in the chat. Others are sharing Elizabeth at Grant Writers, faculty mentors for the nonprofits as well, and fundraising drives. Never does a nonprofit meeting go by without some urgent request for fundraising drives. The nice thing is you have a couple people in this meeting who are in the giving circle world, and they're hearing you loud and clear. So for sure, we'll share that. But look, I don't think fundraising drives are ever not a possibility. But remember, this is a service. It's meant to be focused on service projects. So the focal point for Giving DuPage is the volunteer aspect and the service aspect. So whatever gets born out of these partnerships and these collaborations is a bonus. So you never know. Anita's saying evaluation and research are areas. Another is agreeing with partnering for evaluation research-driven projects. Yay, Natalie, that's exactly what we want. Workforce development would be helpful in grant making. Great, good deal. Marketing is another area that they've struggled with. Marketing leads to fundraising. Yes, there's a potential for all of those things for sure. Master's level, so Dave's adding master level students at BenU are preparing a 1-hour presentation to Human Services in DuPage regarding how to help promote the COVID vaccine distribution on December 10th. Oh, good. So Dave, you want to unmute yourself and just share a quick second about that since the vaccine distribution is on everyone's mind?
Sure. If you don't mind my adding this editorial here, what's really valuable to me about this council is hearing these ideas, just the exchange of information and names and relationships here is incredibly valuable. So I wanted to share an example of the way that a campus connection can add value to the community. We know that the COVID vaccine is coming. We know that there will be a lot of confusion around that for so many reasons. We know that some of our neighbors will be more reluctant than others, or in some cases just less informed because the way that their daily lives are lived, they don't have that opportunity to learn and get educated about what's appropriate and what's not. So human service providers are in a good place to be trusted advisors for their clients. So this 1-hour workshop is to equip them to be trusted advisors and to be thinking about what can they be doing with their clients now to help those clients make good, informed decisions about vaccine for themselves and their families.
Very good. Thanks, Dave. So Elizabeth, I'll let you queue up the next slides. But in the meantime, let me go ahead and make a couple of quick housekeeping announcements before people start popping off right at the end. I always tend to forget to do that early, so I'm going to not forget this time. A few things. There are many of you who are on this call who may or may not have completed. We had sent out last month a nonprofit survey to all of our nonprofit partners, and we really are looking for about 75 to 100 more responses so we can have a reasonable response rate. The feedback is really for Giving DuPage's future programming and to chart our course strategically in support of the nonprofit partners and our work with all of you. So please, we are going to be sending that link out again to everyone. We'll send it out with the follow-up in this call. But just please take a moment if you haven't already. The average runtime on the survey is about 15 minutes, I promise. That's what the survey or the job form told me. So if you have 15 minutes you can carve out today or tomorrow, please go ahead and do so. Some of you were involved with Giving DuPage Days, which is a virtual fundraiser that we did this year for 80 charities. We are going to be making that an annual event. next year in 2021 that is going to take place for 1 week from April 26th to April 30th. If you are interested in information, you will be getting all nonprofits that we serve. In our nonprofit email distribution list, we'll be receiving information about Giving DuPage Days 2021. That information is coming to you in the form of a PowerPoint, so you can plug through and ask you'll get the answers to some of the key questions. And then registration will open in January for that program. Today is Giving Tuesday, so today Giving DuPage will be giving you a gift. We're going to be sending you 6 recordings of our previous virtual nonprofit webinars, so you can listen to those and download those for free if you'd like. And that's my announcements. Elizabeth, I'll kick it over to you to close us out on some next steps.
Thanks. I'm actually going to ask, we'd love to take a group picture. So if we could do that really quick. I'm going to have to do 2 different countdowns and everybody's going to have to smile for both of them because I don't know how to tell everybody who's on which page. So I'm going to do 1. All right.
And take yourself off the camera. But I know everyone's worried about what they look like, but I promise you all look fabulous from our website.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1 more. Hold on. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. All right. I will share screen again and we can move on with closing out. All right. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome.
Extra points for people who knew who the second person was on questions. It's an aged reference.
All right. Another answer in the chat, if you could. We would love to hear in 1 word how you're feeling about this council after today's meeting. And in the interest of time, we will just read some of those later and I will follow up with our next steps. We do have a survey for all of you after this meeting. Please fill it out. We really appreciate your feedback. It is so invaluable to us. We do have in there asking about some of your immediate needs. So that is a really easy way to share that with us on our end to help make sure that we start this council out strong. A few follow-ups for all of you. Please identify your most pressing needs. Like really think about what you want to have addressed for you, your organization, but also your cause. Please also identify others for involvement. We are trying to figure out how to get everyone who needs to be at the table. So if you have any other people from your organization or neighboring organizations that you think need to be involved, please send their contact information to me. I'm happy to reach out to anybody about this. You will have our slides and other information following this that you can share as well. And then in sharing any safe MLK Day service opportunities, we did get some interest from our higher education meeting for ideas on safe ways for students to volunteer for MLK service days. That is also in the survey. So please add that there and I will follow up with them on sharing some ideas so that higher education can really make the best of the MLK service day in the situations that we are all in. I wanted to share with all of you that we are creating an asset map of higher education institutions, which will be a documentation of assets and resources of where higher education in DuPage County touches the community. And we hope it will be an asset to all of you as well in the future to help you really identify some areas where higher education has resources that could be of value to each of you in your organizations. And lastly, save the date, February 10th. Next year, we will be bringing these 2 wonderful groups together and really kicking off this project. We're very excited, so please mark your calendars and we'll be sending a link in the near future. And lastly, thank you all so very much for joining us today. Feel free to reach out to me about anything, questions, comments, thoughts. I am here for you all as a resource in this project.
So definitely you'll be getting this presentation. Elizabeth is your go-to contact for those people who have service ideas for MLK Day. Please not only share them with Elizabeth and in the survey that we are going to be sending out, but also don't forget to post your volunteer opportunities, virtual opportunities in the volunteer portal that we host. We are going to be doing a lot of promotion in the next several months around volunteering. Obviously, the month of December around volunteering. There are a lot of organizations who have been posting virtual volunteer needs. So we're happy to share those steps on how you can take an existing volunteer need that you might have and make it virtual. Very easy to do in the volunteer portal. Again, share your MLK Day service ideas with Elizabeth and also at the volunteer portal. Natalie popped in the survey. Again, you'll receive the link, but Natalie shared the survey. And Elizabeth, I'll let you share some of the nice one words we got. Very cool. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Well, I've seen lots of thank yous. Thanks, very exciting. I don't know if I went back far enough.
You probably didn't. So
I didn't. There they are. Okay, excited, promising, inspired, hopeful, interested, collaborative, yes. Promising, possibilities, interested, excited in all caps. I love that. Relieved, interesting, great, optimistic, awesome. Feeling better.
No, look, I think Amanda's relieved says a lot, right? Boy, we are all, this year has been, well, I don't have to say it. We all know it, right? We're all experiencing it, and it continues to be rough to hear the news, but it is so wonderful to know that anything that we're doing at Giving DuPage in partnership with Campus Compact and Americorps is bringing some relief to our partners and the people that we really value and cherish. So very happy to hear that word, see that word. We'll take any questions. And obviously you're going to get some follow-up on email. You'll get the recording for this meeting if you want to share with your executive directors or other, but I will stay on for any questions. But otherwise, I think, Elizabeth, do we have anything? Save the date for February 10th. You'll be getting that invitation very soon to sign up for that meeting. That is the meeting where you'll get to meet some of the higher education partners. And that is definitely a don't miss one because that is next step on where we're headed with bringing the worlds together, as Elizabeth talked about. Any questions? We'll stay on. Elizabeth, any other closing thoughts or feedback?
No, thank you all again.
Yeah, thank you for your time. We know how precious an hour is, especially on Giving Tuesday. So we are so grateful. Natalie, any other closing thoughts on your end?
No, I'm excited. This was a great conversation. Thank you all.
I know, Natalie, the idea is working. It's great. It's great. It makes me so happy. We'll stay on for anybody who has questions, but thank you all for your time. We're really grateful for your partnership and everything that we do. Happy Giving Tuesday, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sally, I owe you a phone call. I'll call you later.
Whenever.
Okay.
Thanks.
Not sure how I ended up in here twice.
I told you it was when we shared the link.
Oh,
so, yeah.
We'll talk later. Thank you both very much. It was great.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you so much for hopping on. Okay, we have someone else is posing as Elizabeth, and then Clint and Linda are still on. If they're like me, they're multitasking, and so they've probably forgotten to close out. But no worries, they will at some point. No worries.
Oh, but Phantom Elizabeth left.
Yeah. Oh, and just I was sharing the Zoom link with somebody who had said they couldn't find it. So there was a password that they had to enter. If you just share the link, sort of on your own. So anyway.
Interesting.
Elizabeth, I was thinking the teams. So now we're considering doing teams for the February 10th meeting because we don't have a limit on the number of people, but I don't know if it does record. I'm going to also, by the way,
I think it does.